Okay, so every day when I go to work, I have to drive through this little small town called Earling, Iowa. Um, it's actually where the movie The Exorcist is based off of. There's another exorcism too, but this is one of the exorcisms that the movie had based off of. Um, but so I thought about stuff before. There's a few other things, but yesterday on my way to work, I noticed the street sign when you're coming down the hill to go into the town, and it has like one town that says Panama this way. I think Highway F 32 the other way, and it says 5 miles for both of them. And I had just recently been noticing fives, and so I decided that when I got off work to look into it. And just to prove that it is based on that town, the movie, right here it says Emma Schmidt, also known as Anna Eklund, would whatever be immortalized in the classic horror novel and the film The Exorcist. And there's also another link up here, and it says the facts surrounding this case, blah blah blah. Well, I'll just read it. The facts surrounding this case and another demonic possession incident that occurred in Earling, Iowa in 1928 were partial inspirations for Blatty's best-selling book. And so he wrote that in 1971. And let's see here. So here is the film, and it came out in 1973, and it's based off of William Peter Blatty's book. Um, so 2014 is definitely a pretty significant year for a whole bunch of numbers um, that all deal with like Satanism, uh, because we have like our 73s, our 37s, and then the 88s and 8s. But I started seeing the fives and the 55s and the 555s. And this town is literally, Earling, Iowa is literally surrounded by fives and other things. Um, Perfect example here. Uh, the reason I say it's a significant year is because I looked at this movie and I scrolled down to see who played the girl who was possessed. And let's see here, the characters. And it blew me away when I read this. Linda Blair played the little girl who was possessed in the movie. And you click on her, and she was born in 1959, which is 9 5s, which would be 555, which if 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15, and 5 plus 1 is 6. So it's a hidden 6 and 3 5s. And if you have 9 of them, you have 555, which makes 6, 555, which makes 6, 555, which makes another 6. So, and she's 55 years old this year. So anybody who was born in 1959 would be 55 years old. So 2014 is definitely a significant year for this hidden numerology. So a little bit about the exorcism in Erling, and I'll leave a link so you can come and read the whole story or whatever. But it was Emma Schmidt slash Anna Eklund. I still can't figure out why it's two different names, but she was actually in 1912. They performed an exorcism on her, and they thought it worked, and it didn't. And then the big one that they talk about and that the movie is based off of was in 1928. So that would be 16 years apart, which you could say is 2/8 because 16 is 2/8. Um, Also, let me find it here. Emma and Erling, the summer of 1928. So it was the one in 1928. It was actually in 3 sessions, and it took a total of 23 days, which Skull and Bones 23, 2 times 3 is 6, stuff like that. Um, but it started in August, so the 8th month, and it lasted for 8 days. And then they did another session in September, and it lasted for 7 days. And then they finished it off, I think, in December, and it lasted 8 days. And it just happened to end on December 23rd, which December is the 12th month. So 12 and then 23, which is 6, and a 12 is 2 sixes. So there you have another 666. This guy right here, Theophilus Reisinger, he was the priest who performed the exorcism. Now, you come here and you look at, oh, it doesn't show it on here, does it? Yeah, it does. Okay. He was born here. This is his birthday and his death day. Well, so he died on November 9th, 1941. So you got your, November is 11 and 9, so you got your 9/11. And then 1941 was 73 years ago. And if you add these up, he died when he was 73. So he died 73 years ago at the age of 73 on November 9th, which is 9/11. Oh, and also the priest who I just showed you, in 1912, when the first exorcism was done, he would have been 44 years old, which is half of 88. Even more interesting is that they moved her to the Franciscan convent to do the exorcism. And Franciscan, they actually are people and groups who adhere to the teachings and spiritual disciplines of Saint Francis of Assisi. Well, Saint Francis of Assisi is actually who Pope Francis got his name from. And you click on him, and I talked about this in a couple other videos, or maybe just one, but he was actually born, it's disputed, but either way, in the year, whatever, 1181 or 1182. Once again, you have your 11 and your 8 on October 3rd, which would be 3, and then oct is 8. And it was 788 years ago. Okay, and the reason I thought about Earling a while back was because 37 has been a pretty big number this year, and I take Highway 37. I live in this town, and I take Highway 37 on my way to work. Oh, the computer's going really slow. But Highway 37 takes you into Earling here. Now, 36 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18. And 18 times 37 equals 666. Now that also works with other numbers, like 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, and then 37 times 3 is 111. But that's just kind of strange that it's Highway 37, and if you times that by 6 plus 6 plus 6, it equals 666. And so there's 5 ways to get in and out of this town on the highways. You can come in here, or you can come in this way on Highway 37, or you can come in on M16, or leave on M16, or you can come in on Highway 191. That's 5 ways. Now, when I come down this hill the other day, there's a sign over here, and it says a highway this way is 5 miles, and then it says Panama, which is the next town over, is 5 miles. And on Google, it doesn't say this. It says it's 4 some miles. But right when you're leaving the town here to go this way, there's a sign that says Highway 59, 5 miles. So I'll just go over here and prove it here. Phone's going off. There's Highway 59, and it's 5 miles. So, it's 5 miles to Highway 59, and I had said before, 9 and 5 is 666, because, yeah, I already said it. So, there is 5 ways to get out of this town on a highway, and there's 3 of them that are 5 miles, 5 miles away. So that's 3 5s again. When I get to Earling, I take M16 to go the rest of the way to work. And right when you turn this way to go back towards Dunlap, there's a sign that says Dunlap 13 miles. And then it says Panama 5 miles. 13 plus 5 is 18. That's another, and it's right on Highway 37. And that's the only street sign that says, like, towns or whatever. when you're going through. So, I mean, there you go. You got 37 times 18 again. Also, M16 takes you to a junction highway or whatever. If I can find it here. It's like 4 miles or 3.5 miles. It takes you to F32. And so F is the 6th letter of the alphabet. And then 3 times 2 is 6. So you have a 60, takes you to Highway 66, basically. And when you keep going, the highway I turn onto, let's scroll out here. The highway that I turn onto to go to work is 44, which is half of 88. So I turn off of Highway 37 and I get on M16, and it meets F32. So M16, M is the 13th letter of the alphabet. So you have 13 plus 16 is 29. And then you have 66 with the F32. So 66 minus 29 is actually 37. And 66 plus 29 is 95. So there you go. We got 37 again, and we also have the 9 fives. If you take M16 the opposite way, the first place, junction or whatever it takes you to, or the next highway, is Street F16. Now, 6th letter, 6 times 1 is 6, so you got 66, and then you got your 29s. It works the same way. You get your 37 and your 95 again. And then, I don't know if I said it, but 191 is 911. Okay, so the 191, it's 911, but it also can be the 19, and 1995 was 19 years ago. So 95 is, once again, your 9 fives. If you don't believe me, about 9/11 here, on November 9th was the basically when it was this, and this is when the Holocaust started. On November 9th, which is 11/9, and it is 9/11 backwards. And you read through here, at least 91 Jews were killed in the attacks. 91 plus. Why even write 91 plus? If there was more than 91, why didn't you just write 90 plus? That makes no sense. Oh, there's just so much to talk about. But also, the last thing I'm going to talk about is check out the coordinates of Earling, Iowa. I mean, well, 2010 census, 437. That could be significant, but it's 2010. So you can't really say. But the coordinates here are 41 degrees north, 95 degrees west. You have 9 fives again. And then 41, I had said like 73 years ago was 1941. That's just crazy. I mean, it's planned, or I don't know. It's pretty creepy when you really think about it. Anyway, have a great day, and hopefully you find this video somewhat informative. Peace. Okay, I lied again, but I was, for some reason, I wrote this like farther down. But this is why the fives and the 8s are connected, and this year or whatever, is because 555 is 15, and that equals 6, and then 888 is 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. So the only other number that does that is 2, and 22, 88. So yeah, I just wrote these all out, and if you can do it yourself, but it goes 3, the 8s and the 5s are connected. When you add them up, they both equal 6. Peace, this is really the last time.